The first time I stood in that backyard dirt still raw under my boots, I remember thinking, damn, this is what breathing feels like again. After more than 10 years boxed into condo life, HOA rules taped to the fridge like commandments, fines for flower pots, warnings for leaving a bike out overnight, this place felt like oxygen. Not freedom in some poetic sense, but real practical freedom. Space. Quiet. A fence line that actually meant something. The house itself wasn't flashy. Single-story Spanish tile roof cedar fence that smelled good when the sun hit it just right. But the land that was the point. Over half an acre of usable ground, flat, clean, and most important of all, outside the HOA boundary. I checked that detail no fewer than 3 times with the county office survey maps spread across my desk like I was planning a heist. I wanted zero ambiguity. This property was its own island, and I planned to build something my kids would remember long after they forgot their video games. We closed in early spring. My wife and I didn't waste time. Basketball court layout, steel pergola grill station, sunken trampoline, a small pool. Everything permitted. Everything documented. I even hired a licensed engineer just to design the drainage overkill, sure, but I knew the moment concrete touched dirt, the vultures would circle. And circle they did. It started with a letter. Cream-colored envelope, gold-embossed seal. The kind of passive aggression that smells faintly like perfume and control issues. Dear Mr. Boyle, the Sagebrush Meadows HOA kindly requested that I reconsider the aesthetic choices in my backyard. They acknowledged very generously that my property was technically outside their jurisdiction, but claimed my improvements were a visual provocation to residents. I stopped reading right there. The letter was signed by Karen Rosemont, HOA president. I'd heard the name before we moved in. The realtor warned me, half joking. She thinks the HOA extends to wherever she can see from her porch. I laughed back then. Didn't feel so funny anymore. After that came the complaints. Verbal, then written, then digital. My pool tiles reflected too much light at sunset. My grill chimney disrupted air quality. My yard lights might attract wildlife or worse, look like commercial signage. Nonsense, but carefully crafted nonsense. Bureaucratic poetry. The final straw came on a Wednesday afternoon while I was working from home, buried in server logs, when my youngest ran in yelling, "Daddy, someone's in the backyard." I checked the security feed. There she was, Karen herself. White pantsuit, clipboard, pacing my fence like a crime scene investigator. I met her on the grass, calm, polite. "Can I help you?" She smiled, that pinched executive smile, the one that usually comes right before layoffs. "This all looks expensive," she said. "Is it permitted?" "Every inch," I replied, handing her a folder of stamped county permits. She flipped through them, jaw tightening. Then she said it, the line that told me exactly who I was dealing with. "While your property is currently outside the HOA, its proximity influences community cohesion. Excess like this can create inequality." I blinked. "I call it a backyard." She ignored that. "There's still an expectation." "Let me stop you," I said. "I don't belong to your HOA. I don't pay dues. Your authority ends at that fence." She glanced at the camera over my garage. "You may want to consider your tone. Our community values civility." I smiled. "You're trespassing. Please leave." She walked away slowly, like she expected an apology. She didn't get one. That night, with help from a lawyer friend, I drafted a cease and desist and filed for a civil harassment restraining order. The judge approved it. I laminated the order and posted it at the gate backlit so there'd be no excuses. Karen did not take that well. Her Lexus started appearing across the street, engine off, sometimes for minutes, sometimes nearly an hour. Once she peeled off the second my wife stepped outside with the kids. Then came the note in our mailbox. "You don't belong here. Some communities need order. No signature." Of course. Then silence. 2 weeks of nothing. No letters, no drive-bys, no Karen. And I almost believed it was over until my son's birthday. We were throwing a backyard cookout. Balloons, basketball games, grill smoke curling into the sky. I ran out for supplies early that morning. Meanwhile, my dad, retired Marine duct tape problem solver, the man who taught me how to shoot fix engines and never bluff, was driving in to help. About 1.5 miles from the house, on a private easement that's been on our deed since before the HOA existed, he hit a checkpoint. 2 SUVs blocking the road. Hazard lights, folding signs, private access, authorized vehicles only, total theater. 3 men approached, black tactical gear, security stitched on like it meant something. "You Mr. Boyle?" one asked. Dad smiled. "You tell me." They claimed HOA authority to detain him for security evaluation. Dad shut off the engine, unbuckled, and said calmly, Unless you're law enforcement, you're trespassing. One of them reached for his door. Bad idea. 42 seconds. That's all it took. The camera footage later showed my dad disarming one, flipping another over a hood, and zip-tying the third with his own cuffs. No yelling, no rage, just efficient chaos. When I arrived, sheriff's deputies were already there. The security team wasn't licensed. Their IDs were fake. The SUVs belonged to Douglas McClure, Karen's husband. One deputy found a group chat on a confiscated phone, Operation Suburban Sunset. The last message was from Karen: keep him there until after 6. Don't hurt him, just scare him. That was it. No more neighbor drama. This was conspiracy, felony territory. The investigation exploded. HOA funds had been used to pay the fake guards. Emails surfaced. Media vans rolled in. An emergency HOA meeting imploded on livestream when a longtime board member called it what it was: embezzlement. Karen was arrested on a Saturday morning. No quiet exit. Deputies, cameras, neighbors watching from their lawns. She stood there holding a mug that said "Boss Lady" while the charges were read. When they mentioned warrants for her devices and a zoning official investigation, the mug slipped and shattered. She smiled at me anyway, cold, brittle. Then the cuffs went on. The fallout was biblical. Board members resigned. Lawsuits followed. Federal subpoenas landed. 6 months later, Karen was sentenced to 8 years. Her husband got 2. The HOA dissolved, dues refunded. Sagebrush Meadows became just a place again. These days, the grill hums, the pool shimmers. My kids laugh without checking cameras. I built a public basketball court down the road with part of the settlement money. My dad still shows up in that old Marine cap, still tells the story the same way. 3 guys tried to take my son, he says. They got taken instead. So here's the question I'll leave you with. Where's the line between community rules and control? And how many people are still living under someone else's clipboard, afraid to push back? If you've ever dealt with an HOA nightmare or watched one finally fall apart, drop your story below. I want to hear it.